All right, so I had to freeze my ass off the last couple days taking the UTV to the damn gym. It was nice and cold, below freezing. We finally got my truck running right thanks to Old Goat Auto Shop, my buddy Tim. He we finally realized the plugs were fouled out, but it wasn't the only problem we were having. I had the ECU for the Escalade auto tuned, or what was it called? It was mail order tune or something like that. And when we got in there, finally, we had to get on YouTube, see what other people had done with kind of the same combination, and they were going over timing curves, fuel curves, and we looked to see what they did, and all my stuff was in the negative numbers. So we had to put everything where they had it, and it ran a lot better. We changed some plugs, realized now, mind you, I had originally bought AC Delco plugs for my truck. These right here, well, at least what I thought, iridiums. This is the ones I just put in. So I found the cheap ones online, said the same part number. I'm going to say it was Stock Auto, we'll call it that. And then I seen on eBay they got the same thing for $26 rather than the $100 I spent at the auto parts store. But what I wasn't looking at when I bought it, all I seen was the blue writing, white plug. I don't know if my camera's going to zoom in on it because I'm in the background, but it's got some funny name on it. I just didn't look because when I bought them, I assumed they were AC Delcos in the box. They weren't. So the tips are all like bowed out. The electrode tip is like round on some of them. Some of them are bent over where they got hot and like the flame travel pushed it over. So now this thing runs awesome. We tried to put it back to the tune that the fuel curve and the timing curve that the mail order had did, and it didn't like it at all. So we had to go back with what we did. If you have to have your stuff tuned, I would not recommend mail tune of any kind because you can't just take it to a place. It cost me the same. It actually cost me $100 more to do it than it would have to take it to a place local. But we ended up doing it ourselves. I had to take my ex-girlfriend's truck in and get hers done. And it was still cheaper than what I paid to have mine done, and mine wasn't right. And at least when somebody's doing it on their dyno or test driving down the road, they can, feel when there's a problem. I had to, we were sitting there, we couldn't figure out what was wrong. And the first problem was the plugs I got. So it's awesome that they put these Chinese plugs in AC Delco boxes, or they probably made the boxes and put them in there and then sold them under that part number, even though that ain't what was in there. And I just wasn't looking when I put them in. And if you got a GMT 800 or 900 like I've got, and you put the inch and 7/8 inch headers in, the last spark plug on the passenger side, you got a heat shield on the firewall, the header comes out, and then you've got this like 1.5 to 2 inch hose, hard hose coming off the dryer for the AC. I could barely get my hand in there. When I put them in, the headers were just sitting in there. They bolted it. I put the plugs in, then I bolted the headers in when we put the engine back in. So yeah, that was really nice. But yeah, I love buying American parts and getting Chinese stuff. And we didn't realize it. And they like 3 of them had the porcelain cracked down the sides, and the rest of them, the electrodes were all just kind of. It didn't melt off, but it bowed the ends out. They looked like balls, and it just wasn't firing right. And that was like probably 90% of the problem. And then the rest was tuning, and we got it all figured out. Other than the idle, it wants to, when it's real cold out like this morning, it wants to surge between 500 and 1500. And we were messing with the mass airflow sensor at the end, and it was right, but the engine was warm. Now that it's cold in the morning, I got to hold it at 1500 for about 60 seconds, maybe, 2 minutes tops, and then it'll straighten itself out. But we'll get back to it later. Thanks, Tim. Thanks for helping me out, because I'm glad, man, my truck can tow now and do everything I want it to do.